Oh my God, I hear birds in Singapore.
Okay, can I start now?
No, first I gotta tell you how jealous I am that there's birds. The
Your ears are so sharp.
weather nice there. I'm mad at you, but you can still do the mandala. You ready?
Okay, ready.
Okay, go ahead.
사시 부키 조시 메토 참 이람 링시 민데 겜파디 상게 신부 밑에 우와기 로군 남다 신라 주파쇼 이람 구루 라나 만달라 카니야 다야미 상계 주당 석희 촌남라 장추 발두 딱니 갑수치 딱기 천년 기배 수남기 드롤라 펜체 상계 주파쇼 상계 주당 석희 촌남라 장추 발두 딱니 갑수치 딱기 천년 기배 수남기 드롤라 펜체 상계 주파쇼 상계 주당 석희 촌남라 장추 발두 딱니 갑수치 딱기 천년 기배 수남기 드롤라 펜체 상계 주파쇼.
Yay. Good job, Yinghui.
I think you heard aeroplane sound, so right?
What's that?
Aeroplane sound. Sorry about that.
Oh, airplane sound. I didn't hear it.
Okay, cool.
How do you say? Feiji.
Yeah, perfect.
Finally, some respect. Okay, let's start with the quiz. That's not the quiz. Ready for the quiz? I already did my quiz. Yay. Okay, that's the whole thing. Yep. All right, quiz number 6. You have about 10 minutes. Enjoy. Everybody done?
Two minutes.
Okay. Okay. Todos terminaron. Sorry, Revis. I know you have nothing to do if I speak in Spanish. Okay. Any questions? About anything. Ask me anything. Now's your chance. Okay, gave you a shot. I'm hostile when you send me a WhatsApp message. This was your opportunity. All right. Class 7 course 17 review course. So now we're reviewing course number 9. And we just did course number 8. What was the text for course 8?
Abhidharma Kosha.
By whom?
Abhidharma Kosha by Master Vasubandhu.
Yay. I was just paying attention. Okay. Just seeing what you remembered 5 seconds after we did it. Question 1. So wait, this course is about Vinaya. Hold on. Which is it's about Vinaya, which there's a couple ways to translate this word. You can translate it as vowed morality, meaning the stuff that you do that doesn't hurt people that you vow not to do. I think sometimes in general it's considered just like ethics. And then Tibetan is very particular, and we'll go over that now. So this course is all about the vows on the Pratimoksha level. What does Pratimoksha mean, Kelly McGee?
Freedom or individual freedom.
Yes, individual freedom. Why would we call something that?
Because they only get the person who's following them free.
Right. And if you don't follow them, you don't get free. I mean, unless you find some alternate method. I hope you do. Okay. Not you, the proverbial you. Question 1. Give the Sanskrit and Tibetan words for Buddhist discipline and explain the literal meaning of the term. The Sanskrit word for Buddhist discipline is Vinaya, and the Tibetan word is Dulwa. The word means to tame or to discipline or to control. It doesn't say it here, but I'll explain it just like I remember my teacher, Holy Geshe Michael, explaining what his teacher says. So, Dul comes from a root. I think the root is tul, pao, tashapitu, la tul, and that means to tame, like you tame a wild horse. So in English, you could say tame, but we also say break, which I don't know if animal lovers like that, but there's a whole method. If you get a wild horse that like is like kicking and crazy and you want to like, enslave it basically for yourself, going on its back and I don't know, maybe pulling stuff for you, like carriages and stuff, you have to, quote, break it, right? So that it will do what you want it to do. That is a form of breaking, isn't it? Anyway, that's what the dul and dulwa refers to. Should I check my dictionary? I'm pretty sure I'm gonna check. So mixed nuts is coming up. If I want to make money, I gotta get my Tibetan good, all right? Very important. Motivation. Oh, tul is the past tense of dul. Dul is the infinitive form. I'm double checking. Yeah. Tul is the past tense. Cool. I learned. All right. So anyway, dulwa. So as Master Nurchad Dharma Bhadra points out, who's a very famous lama in our tantric lineage, he points out the collection of scripture known as Buddhist discipline Vinaya is so called because we use what it treats as its subject matter, that is, the ethical behavior of abandoning the 7 bad deeds along with their group to tame the mental afflictions as well as to control the senses. And so, you know, Holy Geshe Michael has italicized tame and control, which shows why it's called dulwa, because that's what you're taming. You know, it's like, I don't know, some of my friends have kids now, like Rivas. Yeah, I mean, I remember being a kid, you just go crazy all the time. I mean, you just want to go crazy. That's the most fun thing you can do. Like, just go crazy. I mean, for me, as a kid, you just yelling, screaming, running, breaking stuff on accident or purpose. I don't know. So that's the opposite of dulwa, right? Hopefully by the time you get my age, very old, you've dulwa'd yourself some, right? Otherwise, generally your life is a wreck. Okay? If you act like a child when you're older, you do destruction to your life. So it is the parent's job, to whatever degree, you know, it's up to the parent, I guess, to dulwa the child, right? And it is your Lama's job to dulwa you, okay? Not me, I'm horrible. I mean, I'll make fun of you, that's fine. But besides that, you're not getting much out of me except Tibetan words. But you should get, your best Lama is probably your girlfriend or boyfriend. Okay? Listen, if you're dedicated enough to be with them, be dedicated enough to listen to what they have to say about what a blankety blank you can be, okay? Because they watch you all day, you know, if you live together or whatever. And they know. They're the ones that feel the effects greatest of your non-tamed behavior. So if you want to know what your problems are, just ask them. Or I guess I could ask my students too, but that would be too revealing. Okay, so that's what dulwa means. It means to tame. Same with Vinaya. I don't know if Vinaya literally means to tame in the same way. It definitely refers to vowed morality. I was thinking about that before class. I was like, does it actually mean that? Do you guys want to see? I mean, sorry, I'm a Sanskrit nerd too. You want to see? Okay, you want to see how I look up Sanskrit words and find their roots? It could take a while. If it starts taking too long, I'll stop because we have how many more questions? We have 8 more. So, but some people ask me how I find the answers to these things. And I guess they think it's going to be like an easy answer or something because they're like, how do you find the answer? I'm like, look all over the internet for 45 minutes when you ask me some random question. So, not easy. Sometimes I have to look through the Chinese, sometimes the Tibetan, sometimes the Sanskrit. And the roots are really hard because not many people know them. Okay, there's a thing called Wisdom Library, but if I just do this, Vinaya Sanskrit, we might get something. Here, this one, Wisdom Library. It's quite good. Okay, Humble behavior. Vinayo chitta. Chitta is like mind. Vinaya. This O is for probably because it comes before the C. I don't know. Oh, you know what's a really good source? Wikipedia for roots. There's a Wiktionary. Do you guys know about that? Super nerdy. And they have tons of Chinese, tons of Tibetan. They even show like the connections between Chinese and Tibetan. Proto-Sino-Tibetan. Ooh, sexy. Okay, here we go. Here is the Devanagari. If you're good, I'll teach you Devanagari. This is, I think, this is Bengali, I think. Anyway, here we go with the Devanagari. No root. It says, oh, borrowed from Sanskrit. Okay, here we go. It's the same page. What? Oh, this is the, oh, I see. That's the Hindi referring to the, yeah, okay. Declensions, does it have declension? So it seems like the root is Vin. Okay, we won't take too much longer, okay? Because I mean, I find this interesting, but you probably don't, and that's annoying. Ugh. Okay, here's a trick. You just put in the symbol for root, and sometimes it might come up. Ooh, what do we have here? Oh, maybe I didn't look far enough on the page. It looks like it comes from ni, which is weird though, because ni is, hold on. Oh, Vinaya. Ooh, look what we found here. V, but V usually means a lot of. Vinaya, said to be artificially formed from V and Nur. Here it is. Oh, there it is. Apparently it means leading away or asunder, separating, according to the Wisdom Library people. That's what it means. But, oh, here's, no, okay. The Cologne Digital Sanskrit Dictionary, which I think is pretty good, says, yeah, it is V and Ni, and it does mean training or discipline. Yeah, okay, there's the answer, yay! Okay, you can wake back up now. Okay, question 2. Describe the relationship between Buddhist discipline and Lord Buddha and his teachings. Oh, this is cool. For some reason, this stuck in my head when I first learned it. It is stated that from the point of view of subject matter, the collection of scripture on Buddhist discipline constitutes the highest teachings of the Buddha for 2 reasons. In essence, these teachings are sufficient to represent the entire instructions of the Buddha, which is incredible because the Buddha gave a lot of instructions. And because they illuminate the rules of ethical behavior, these teachings can also act as a substitute for the Buddha himself. Whoa. We should discuss that. Is there any, what do you guys think about that? How come just Vinaya can represent all the Buddha's teachings and even substitute the Buddha himself? What do you think?
I mean, for the substituting for the Buddha himself part, it makes me think of like it's a set of instructions, right? So if you follow these instructions,
Mm,
you are the Buddha.
that's cool. I like that. ¿Otros comentarios? ¿Otros comentarios? I don't know. I think, I mean, ethical behavior is, I mean, it's the foundation of everything, really. I mean, it's like the Lam Rim says. I mean, if you follow Lam Rim, or I guess the three principal paths, Tantra like happens to you whether you like it or not, they say. And I don't know. It's basically it's the karma for everything to happen, right? So it is like Kelly McGee says, I guess, like it is the, if you do the things that are the foundation, you have to get the results. It's just like, yeah, I like that instruction manual or something like that. I don't know. Something to think about. But be nice to your mom. Okay, 3. Explain the role of the extraordinary trainings of an ethical way of life in the development of the other 2 extraordinary trainings, especially as explained by Jason Kappa in his Epistle on Ethics. This understanding might be the greatest thing to come out of Jason Kappa and the Galupa tradition. I don't know. There's a lot of great things for sure. But when I heard this, I was like, oh my God, finally. It explains not only how the 3 trainings connect, but also, yeah, how the 8 limbs of yoga connect, for instance, which are basically the 3 trainings. Or the 6 paramitas, which are also can be grouped as the 3 trainings, and so forth. So first, just for y'all, why do they call them extraordinary trainings? Wait, first of all, what are the 3 trainings?
Morality, concentration, and wisdom.
Yeah, good. And why do they call them extraordinary trainings?
Because if you follow them, you will be an extraordinary being with superpowers.
Basically, because I think, as I recall from what Geshe-la says, they're like separating them as like because there's other schools that have morality, there's other schools that have concentration, other schools that have different wisdom teachings. So, but these are the teachings that will make you into a Buddha, so they're extraordinary, basically. So Jason Kappa, in his epistle, Jason Kappa mentions that even in his time, very few people recognize the fact that the extraordinary training in wisdom, in meditative concentration, had to precede the extraordinary training in wisdom. A person cannot perceive emptiness directly without reaching a high level of meditative concentration. And I think this persists to this day. In Japanese, there's a thing called Satori. Have you all heard of that? The Zen schools talk about it. It's like basically like the understanding or belief. I don't know the exact belief. I think there's a lot of like kind of Dharma rumors around it, but that you could, like, you're walking down the street and you all of a sudden understand, like you have like some kind of direct perception of emptiness, or you get enlightened or something like that. Like it just happens spontaneously, without necessarily any practice or training and meditation. So there's probably argument about it. But Jason Kappa says no. Then he states that by his time as well, the fact that the extraordinary training in an ethical way of life is a prerequisite for the training and concentration had already been forgotten. He states that a clean and undisturbed state of mind is produced by an ethical lifestyle and is as necessary to see emptiness as a clear and undisturbed pond is in order for a reflection of a moon to appear in it distinctly. And they use this metaphor for the pond quite a bit. Let me see if I can get it right. So if you have a pond of water and the moon is out, but the pond is disturbed, so like all the silt, sand in the pond, the dirt is all stirred up. It's cloudy, right? And so that cloud represents your deeds, your bad deeds specifically, I guess. And then you not doing bad deeds represents the water not having a bunch of silt in it or sand. And then your concentration represents like the ripples in the water. So if you learn to concentrate really well, there's no ripples in the water. And then if there's no cloudiness in the water and there's no ripples in the water, then you can see the reflection of the moon perfectly. And the moon is like emptiness or some sort of wisdom that you can see perfectly and then look at it, examine perfectly and understand its nature due to the fact that there's no cloudiness or ripples in the water, your morality and concentration. So I like that analogy, and you'll hear it a lot in scripture. In yoga practice, what are the two limbs that talk about morality? Come on, yogis.
Llamas y niyamas.
Yeah, thank you, Mancho. I was hoping you'd save us. Yeah, yamas and niyamas, and there's each one of them have 5, so it's kind of like the 10 commandments of yoga, right? What are they? Ahimsa, not hitting people. Satya, telling the truth. Asteya, not stealing from people. Aparigraha, not holding on to things you don't need. Brahmacharya, good sexual conduct. Saucha, practicing purity. Santosha, being content with what you have. Tapas, practicing very hard, especially in not getting angry at others, according to Buddhism. Svadhyaya, studying the scriptures very hard. And Ishvari Pranidhana, listening to what your guru tells you to do. Not me, get a real guru. Okay. That is the epistle on ethics by Jason Kappa. Okay, number 4. Oh, wait. Back to Ashtanga. Mancho knows about Ashtanga, right? The 8 limbs. So which of the 8 limbs are of yoga are for concentration, Mr. Mancho?
Well, we start by pranayama,
Yeah.
and then dharana.
Yeah. What about samadhi and dhyana? Are those involving concentration? And pratyahara, excuse me.
Pratyahara, but it's more about without senses.
Sense deprivation. It's a trick question. Sorry, Mancho. They're all meditation. All the last ones are all meditation. Basically. So, and then, I mean, if you achieve samadhi, then you're supposed to get some wisdom. But if you haven't done svadhyaya, it's harder to get the wisdom if you haven't studied. Okay, good job, Mancho. Okay, name the early Sanskrit commentary which forms the basis for the study of Buddhist discipline in Tibetan monasteries. Give also the author and his approximate date. This is simple, okay? This is the Vinaya Sutra, the sutra on discipline written by Master Guna Prabha in around 500 AD. What does sutra mean usually? Sutra, actually. What does sutra usually refer to?
Short book.
Good, that's one. What's another one?
Spoken word of the Buddha.
Yes, that's another one. I should offer money for this, but you probably get it. Where does the word sutra come from? Suture. Sutra. It's a thread because a thread was used to bind the book. It just means thread. The word so comes from that. And the word
is sutura, stitches.
yeah, same. Yeah, exactly. So SEW and so SOW in English both come from that. And the word seed and the word semen, which is a kind of seed. They all come from the same root in Sanskrit. Anyway, so it's kind of a trick because so the Vinaya Sutra is not a sutra, meaning it wasn't spoken by Lord Buddha, but it is a very famous Buddhist book by Master Guna Prabha. You just gotta know that. Okay, describe the motivation which one should engage in a study of Buddhist discipline. The master, once again, Jason Kappa says in his Epistle on Ethics, excuse me, if keeping up this ethical way of life becomes for us something motivated only by concern about how we look to others or about the honor and gifts we might obtain thereby, then the real point of ethics is lost. We must maintain an ethical way of life out of a feeling of renunciation, a true desire to escape our present suffering condition, known as samsara, the fact of our defective and suffering body and mind. Right? What does Jason Kappa say about a virtuous monk who practices his morality perfectly without understanding emptiness?
He's completely immoral.
Ooh, wow. That is correct. So, I mean, part of understanding how to get out samsara, clearly, maybe all of understanding how to get out samsara is understanding how your actions are connected to what you see in the world and that there's nothing out there except what you see, which is called emptiness. La vacuidad. Kongxing. Okay? Can't have a discussion about ethics if you don't talk about emptiness at least a little bit. So I just dropped it right there. All right, here we go. In the opening lines of his text, Jason Kappa mentions that the vows of individual freedom constitute the subject matter of the scripture on Buddhist discipline. Explain why these vows are given this name. Oh, here we go. Kelly McGee's answer. As Master Nucha Dharmabhadra, by the way, some old masters, where's Master Nucha Dharmabhadra? Master Nucha Dharmabhadra was the 1700s. 1782 to 1851, I think. Someone can check for me if they want. During that time, they still took Sanskrit names. That's why his name is half Sanskrit, if you were wondering. Maybe you weren't wondering. Nuchu means Ng literally means silver. Chu means water. What's silver water?
Quicksilver.
What,
Mercury.
yeah, mercury. Yeah. It's mercury. And it in Asia, mercury was used for different forms of alchemy. It's actually in Europe too, right? Turning lead into gold and other things like that. So I think it represents him being like a master. And Dharma means the teachings, and Vajra means pure. But that's Sanskrit. But that happens sometimes in the olden days. Okay, so Master Ngluchu Dhamma Vajra explains in his commentary to Jason Koppa's work, these vows are given the name individual freedom, which is literally what they're called. In Sanskrit, it's prati moksha, which means individual freedom. And in Tibetan, it's soso tarpa, which means the same exact thing, individual freedom. For the reason that those who take and keep them properly gain freedom from the cycle of suffering, whereas those who act in the opposite way fail to gain this freedom. Okay? What happens to those who act in the opposite way, according to Buddhism? Those who act in the opposite way in a minor kind of way.
Pretas.
Minor, not medium.
Oh, animals.
Yeah, good job. We just took that course, remember everybody? Maybe you don't remember. Okay. Name the 6 categories by which Jason Koppa explains the vows of individual freedom. Okay, the 6 categories are the vows' basic nature, the way they are divided into 8 types, their individual descriptions, who can take them, how they are lost, and the benefits they give when you keep them properly. Jason Koppa is the master of the outline, okay, and the list. It's very particular. I mean, Buddhism has a lot of lists anyway. One of my teachers told me it's partly due to the fact to Lord Buddha's training in that life as a prince. And so he was trained in all these things, hence the name Siddhartha, the one who was good at everything he did, or the one who would accomplish the goal. And so he learned to memorize things as lists because he was being trained in statecraft, right? As a king. That's the ones who, that's like the executive branch, right? Anyway, Jason Koppa is very good at outlines. Sometimes the Jason Koppa books seem like more outline than book. Okay, you're like, wait, where we are? Like, I was like, when does the book start? And you're like halfway through it. It's just the outline is so specific that it seems like where's the material? But anyway, these are the 6 parts. And here's the Tibetan. Ngoa is nature. Tang means and. Ni means those are. Rabye is divided. Tang and. Soy soy ngunsin kewa. 10. Who are the vows? Which individuals can be a basis for to start holding the vows, something like that. Tongwei Gyu, how do you lose them? And Penyin, benefits them? Yeah, benefits. Look, I didn't forget Tibetan, I remember it. Okay, give a general description of the vows of individual freedom by quoting directly the relevant 2.5 lines of Jason Koppa's root text. Oh, it is turning away from harming others and its basis caused by an attitude of renunciation. Boom. So turning away from harming others. What is the Sanskrit word that almost every yogi knows and mispronounces that means To not harm.
Ahimsa.
You're supposed to mispronounce it.
Ahimsa.
Yeah, hinsa. Why is it hinsa and not himsa?
Because the vowel,
Mm.
some letter we can't,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how the
When it-
transcription.
When
Yeah.
it's next to an E, it changes to an N. To an I. When it's next to an I, changes to an N or something like that.
Close, but not exactly. It's the M is not an M. It's called a anuswara. Anuswara means the sound made after. Anu means after. Swara means sound. So how you pronounce that Sanskrit vowel is based upon the sound that comes after it. Okay, so make a S with your mouth. Okay, what part of your mouth do you use to make the sound? Your teeth. Okay, if you didn't figure it out, it's your teeth, right? Try making an S sound without your teeth. It's an H. Okay. Anyway, now make an M sound. What part of your mouth do you use for that?
Lips.
Exactly. Very good. So the sound you make with your lips cannot be the sound for the anuswara. It has to be the sound with the teeth, because the sound after is what determines. So the sound with the teeth, that's a nasal, is called N, right? Now make a N, N, N.
Nah.
You have to put your tongue right behind your teeth to make N, right? So it's ahimsa. Got it? It's also sansara for the same exact reason. But no one cares. Okay, question 9. Name the 5 rules and 1 additional part of the lifetime lay person's vow. All right. So many of you have these vows. You should know what they are. I mean, I don't think you plan on doing these things anyway, but if you do, no, you're not allowed. I mean, unless you want to break the vow, that's up to you. It's your life. Okay. The 5 rules are not killing a human or a human fetus. Okay. And yes, the Buddha did say that. That's not something that was snuck in there later by a right-wing pundit or something like that. Okay. So nowadays we have very deep and controversial discussions about abortion. I want to tell you, there it is. B, not stealing anything worth more than a quarter or karshapana. So karshapana is a amount of money from ancient India. I think certain lamas in our tradition, including Geshe Michael, have tried to calculate that amount. It's pretty much impossible, you know. I mean, it's hard to calculate how much a dollar's worth nowadays, much less a karshapana from 2,500 years ago. But Geshe Michael, I've heard him say different things, to be honest, but he often says don't steal something that's worth more than a sweater costs, a nice sweater. But a nice sweater costs a lot, right? A nice sweater could be like $100 or something. I mean, if I think of a nice sweater, I think of like I'm putting out $80. So to be able to steal something that's less than $80, I don't know, it doesn't seem much of a vow to me. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm not breaking any vows. But I like to think of it as because sometimes you accidentally take things like someone's pen, you know, or like a paper clip from work. Like basically something that no one cares about, it's not gonna miss, is not breaking the vow. You know?
In this last ACI course, Jorge Goshela said again the sweater,
Yeah, I've heard him say the sweater. I've heard him say other things
but
too.
not a nice sweater. He just said like a sweater.
Okay, maybe like a thrift shop sweater. That's like $5.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but yeah, I mean, you can tell in your heart, like if you walk away with someone's paperclip, you know, no one cares. But yeah, if you steal someone's sweater, they're gonna be like, where the hell's my sweater, dude? So, you know, or even if it's something, but if it's something that doesn't cost that much, but they love it, I feel like that's breaking the spirit of the vow. You know, like if you steal someone's favorite old sneakers, they're not worth anything. They're smelly, but they're gonna be like, dude, you stole my sneakers. You're like, what kind of Buddhist are you? You know? So, but back in the day, they said a quarter car shopping. Whatever that means now. Okay, not lying about your spiritual life. This is usually specifically like seeing emptiness directly, or you know, meeting deities or something like that. So even if you have met deities or you are one, and I think this is one of the reasons that an Arya won't really directly say, hey, I saw him just directly, guys, you know, because for people who aren't ready, it can turn to something else in their mind. Like I was once at a teaching. It was actually kind of a famous teaching for maybe the wrong reasons, but there was a reporter there who came to basically, I don't know, say bad things about my teacher. And it was like the first teaching I ever went to, actually. And I didn't know who he was or what was going on. It was, I think it was the very first teaching. It was definitely the first Lam Rim I ever went to. Was it the first day? I think it was. It was like the second day. Anyway, he asked some question and he was like, you said you were enlightened, you know? And like, obviously, Geshe Michael never said anything like that. But in his head, talking about like direct perception and emptiness, he just got, you said you're enlightened out of that, you know? And so you could really confuse a beginner or hurt someone's spiritual life if you weren't careful with saying certain things, even if they were true, much less if they weren't. So don't lie about stuff. Okay, not committing adultery. That's just a bad idea anyway. Okay, like for many reasons. Like, I mean, you took a vow. If you're married, you took a bunch of other vows too, right? To have and to hold, in sickness and health, to death do us part. Okay? I don't know. I'll tell you something. My dad just died, okay? Him and my mom were married for 48 years. Okay? I was alive for 41 of those years. I would say from my side, about 40% of it was okay. I mean, it seemed pretty rough to me. I did not envy him in that sense. But homie wrote it out, man. Like he took that vow seriously. Okay. Part of the reason I'm not married because I don't know, taking vows is kind of a big deal to me. So if you just want a girlfriend, keep a girlfriend. Okay. But do realize in certain states you will have a common law marriage after 7 years of living in the same roof. Okay, just so you know. But don't take vows unless you're ready to take. You know, it's a lifetime. That's your whole life. Okay. Anyway, not taking intoxicants. I mean, if it's for medicinal purposes, like your doctor tells you to do it or something, it's not considered intoxicant. But just be careful. I mean, in the scripture, Lord Buddha specifically says, you know, alcohol, something natural or artificially synthesized. Okay, it's another one of those cases like what kind of chemistry were they doing in 500 BC? We got sex changes, we got chemistry going on, we got abortions. Like this is like I don't know, man. Homie knew something. Okay. So yeah, just yeah. And they say, like, I stopped taking intoxicants years before I took these vows. So I was like, yeah, might as well take the vows, get some extra karma. So, I mean, don't do drugs anyway. I mean, okay. I mean, if you're like, maybe if you're like indigenous, if you're indigenous, okay, and like that's part of your tradition, like that's a whole other thing, okay? And you gotta be clear on that in your mind and with your God, okay? But you know. Okay, the additional part is agreeing never to act against the advices on going for refuge. So there is a list of 18 advices. How many refuge advices are there? I think there's 18. I'm blanking right now. And then and there's also you know, not doing the 10 non-virtues, right? Which we went over last class, I guess. Killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, divisive speech, harsh words, idle speech, being mad when people get what they want, being happy when they don't get what they want, and holding wrong views, like thinking things don't come from you, not believing in past lives, and stuff like that. At the sound of the tone, class will be over. Any questions? For the most part, Vinaya class is pretty straightforward, okay? Oh my God. By the way, you should come to Mixed Nuts class. It starts in a month from today, I think. Yeah. My colleague, Allison, is translating a Vinaya text, which is amazing. I don't know why. I love this book so much. It's so fun. All the different subjects in the monastery, of which there's 5 main subjects in the monastery: Vinaya, Abhidharma, higher middle way, lower middle way, and debate, like logic. They all kind of have their own language. Like you could even use the same words in Tibetan to mean different things in each subject. So there's all this stuff in Vinaya that you won't hear anywhere else. There's a lot of fun stories, like cautionary tales, like how the vows came to be. There's all this different vocabulary. It's from the Abhidharma, so there's Abhidharma concepts. Plus, usually we don't talk about the vows of monks and nuns, but Geshe is teaching us all of them. So that's fun. So I recommend her book. And Geshe is like doing amazing, incredible work, organizing like some old texts and old that have been somewhat mixed up over the years, and like certain words and phrases and ideas that have not been straightened out for maybe 1,000+ years. So, you know, hundreds of years, whatever, how long. So that's amazing to see. And I know it takes an incredible amount of work, and I'm incredibly lazy and won't do it, would never do it myself. So it's fun to watch the master work. I mean, he does that for all of our subjects, which is 10 different subjects, which is incredible in itself as well. But Vinaya is great and it's fun. And that was our first Vinaya class. If there are no questions, class will end early. Are there questions? Okay. It's Monday.
Yo tengo una pregunta de la clase anterior.
Si,
De los
si quieres, yo te traduzco.
tipo de sustentos, no me queda muy claro el concepto que dice, entiendo del concepto de contacto manchado como algo impuro, pero lo demás no me queda muy claro. No sé si me pueda ampliar.
Hola,
Yeah.
Tania. Sí, yo te traduzco.
Okay.
¿Sí?
Tanya is asking a question that
¿Sí
she's
me
not
escuchaste?
About impure contact from the last class, right?
about the 4 types of sustenance. She says that she kind of gets the stained contact one, but not the others.
Okay. Why are they stained or why are they impure?
Pregunta,
Sí entiendo el concepto de contacto manchado, está como impregnado de ignorancia, pero no entiendo mucho cómo se refiere al contacto del objeto, poder y conciencia, eso que involucran con una experiencia de placer, eso no me queda muy claro. No sé si me pueda explicar un poquito más de eso. Entiendo más o menos el concepto de contacto manchado como algo impuro, pero no entiendo lo demás. Si me pudiera, no escuché muy bien eso en la clase anterior.
Okay.
I do get the thing about the stained contact, but that a contact of the object, power, and consciousness that involve an experience of pleasure, I don't get that very clear. I don't understand what's the
Okay.
sense about that
Okay.
there.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so just to review, these are the 4 kinds of sustenance in the Abhidharma Kosha. And we discussed them last class. And they are, so the four things that can sustain life. They're food, contact, movement of the mind, and consciousness. And so they're saying without these 4, you would die. Okay, and then as per stained contact, what it's referring, so stained contact is what it is. So stained means anything that is samsaric, anything that is not what a Buddha or Arhat experiences. It would be an Arhat because it's Abhidharma Kosha. And then contact literally means you have an object, like if it's, let's say touch, okay? So if it's touch, then the object would be your body, and then power refers to the sense power, and the sense power would be feeling, or the skin's ability to feel things. And consciousness refers to how your mind interprets that touch. So this is just describing the actual process by which contact happens to a being. So if it was sight, it would be like a color, your eyeball, and your mind. If it's smell, it's the smell, your nose, and your mind. If it's taste, it's the food, your tongue, and your mind, like that. So this is just saying stained contact, and then this explains what they mean by contact. And that's when your senses actually make some kind of contact with an object through the sense power. And they're saying that without that, you would die. Like babies who don't get touched enough would die. ¿Entiendes?
Ok, gracias.
De nada. Okay. Good question. Anything else while I'm feeling happy? No? Okay. Well, then we'll finish class early, which is just fine with me. Today is a very amazing holiday in the United States. It's Martin Luther King Day. It's a day we celebrate a saint, especially for Black people in the United States. And I am celebrating this person very much today, considering certain kinds of hate of the racial variety are on the rise again in the United States. And it's a little disconcerting. And I thought to myself today, what kind of life would I have had if Martin Luther King and others like him hadn't done their holy, holy work? And just realize, you're getting this training from ACI, learning how to be a bodhisattva, learning how to become a Buddha, and you don't know how much you're going to affect people's lives. You don't know. And Martin Luther King only lived to be 39. Okay, I'm 42. Martin Luther King did more, in 39 years than I have in 42, and I will ever do probably for people. He's one of these non-Buddhist Buddhists. He's one of these people who is a better Buddhist than the Buddhists. At least me. I don't know about you. So please don't discount your holy work as yogis, as Buddhists, as mothers and fathers and friends and countrymen, right? Country people, meaning help the people of your country. You don't know. Unfortunately, in 50 years or something, there could be like word statues around, which would be horrible for all of you. Whoever had to be alive during that period would be horrible, and they'll tell fake stories about me of how like a nice person I was and stuff. Because no one will remember how like sarcastic and annoyed I was, because they'll all be dead. But you don't know. It seems like a silly ACI class on a Monday night in, Guadalajara or New York or wherever you are, but we don't know. So keep doing good things. Martin Luther King went to jail for me, so I could hold hands with Kelly McGee in New York. Isn't that what he said? Walking down the street. And we can do that. Some of the things from the 50s and 60s that he experienced would be absurd to us now. Water fountains, separate water fountains. It seems ridiculous. Okay. And also don't think being nonviolent means you should not fight evil. Okay? It doesn't mean go hit somebody in the head or plan some insurrection against your government. Okay, that's stupid. That's just going to lead to more bad things. But you have to speak up. Okay? You have to act in the ways that are in your scope, meaning if you have a family, and be responsible. But what is this quote? The only thing evil needs to thrive is for good people to do nothing. All right? So don't forget Martin Luther King and the great people who sacrificed their lives, literally, so that you could be free. All right, now let's do this mandala. It's dedicated to MLK and all the teachers. Oh yeah, where'd MLK get his philosophy from, largely? I mean, two people.
Gandhi?
Yeah, who else? Jesus.
Well, yeah.
Okay, and Gandhi was a yogi. I mean, he's all about ahimsa. Okay, it's not an accident. Nonviolence is a translation. Nonviolent resistance is a translation of ahimsa. Okay, so like, you're not doing some random thing. Okay, you are doing that. So remember the 4 points of practice when someone smashes you in the head with a flagpole. Some patriot. Okay. Yinghui.
Okay.
All right, go ahead,
Okay. I'll start now.
please.
Sashi Puki Jushi Meto Chang Riram Lingshi Ninde Kempati Sange Shindu Mite Uwagi Drokun Namda Shingla Drupasho Iram Guru Ratna Mandala Kraniya Tayami Gewadi Gewogun Sunam Yeshe Sokso Shin Sunam Yeshe Lejongwe Dampa Kurni Dopa Sho.
Yay. Okay. All right, everyone. Tartuk, before you go to sleep tonight.
Thank you,
Dream of
Word.
helping
Thank you,
people.
Rivas.
Gracias, Rivas.
Gracias, Karina.
Thank you, Walt. Gracias, Rivas.
Gracias, Karina.
Remember, Word,
Word.
stay, please. So
Thank
we
you, Word.
close.
Thank you, Word. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
I'll
I
be
love
back
you,
Wednesday
Word.
so we
Thank
can
you,
finish course
man.
15.
Gracias, Alex.
Bye,
Sí, cierto.
everybody. Hasta miércoles.
Y Ana,
Bye.
gracias.